Otis was born in Sussex, United Kingdom, however spent most of his youth back and forth between St. James, Jamaica in the Montego Bay area, and Madrid, Spain. Otis and his brother Rafael grew up spoiled due to their wealth, and was introduced into the family's criminal operations since the age of 3 years old. Due to Otis's family being a human-sacrificing bloodline, both them and the Walker family was responsible for the illegalization of ganja aka marijuana. This was due to this being used as an act of corporate espionage against the hemp industry, make laws to put ganja smokers in prison to make money go back into the system with each arrest and commissary deposit, control the underworld and create big pharma, and the main reason, people high on marijuana can see through and detect their witchcraft immediately. Otis and Rafael grew up sacrificing children in their satanic rituals, usually sent to lure and kidnap children for their parents' satanic rituals. These rituals would usually happen during major astrological or lunar transits. However, the Diaz family do witchcraft for anything they do. Whether it's to eat, sleep, have intercourse, or shit. Everything is ritualized, even down to the way they socialize with people. However, the Diaz family has strong dominion over the religious industrial complex due to their generous donations to all Christian and Catholic churches internationally, and their family ties to the Vatican via Antipope Clement VIII from 1423 to 1429. Because of this, Otis grew up in the church and got deep into Christianity. While Otis had a strong passion for the church, Otis made his way into being a minister by the age of 14, then became a youth pastor by the age of 18, that did tours internationally due to his family connections. Otis loved to mainly use the Obeah brand of witchcraft, which amplified his spell work with the use of the Book of Psalms, while simultaneously focusing his spirit energy on the central nervous system of his targets, since Otis knows all 150 psalms by heart. Otis realized that he can siphon an overload of energy all at once within just 10 minutes of ministry, by weaponizing everyone's energy with the use of the church steeples to empower his own energy. Otis get power surges of energy from doing sermons and delivering people, having the energy of 10,000 men as he called it. However, Otis was using nothing but energy manipulation whenever he delivered people, by giving people pinches of the same energy he stolen from them, while implanting demons of pride into his church members. However, Otis was also using the church as a front for his family's human trafficking operations, and for his child pornography operations. Otis slept his way into ministry by way of sex magic, mind control, and his natural abilities to emit pheromones in any situation, which caused anyone around him to be hypnotized into having sex with him. Otis has the ability to telepathically hijack the mind of anyone he wants just by way of staring into a person's eyes for at least 6 seconds, as well as by way of fluid binding of each other's DNA. All which is due to their nervous system being interlinked. Otis and Rafael went into business with Bart Walker and Young Cheng to start a child porn ring during World War I. They used Otis's ties to the churches in Jamaica and Spain for the operation. They would usually either hex their victims into killing themselves if they detected they would snitch, or pay off the authorities and their parents in gold bars. Otis's taste in children happens to that of ethnic preteens, or children forced to be dressed as their opposite gender. Otis eventually became one of the first televised evangelist pastors in human history, a pastor so powerful people around the world would travel to his megachurch, and beg for sermons to be toured in their own countries. The family dynamic of the Diaz family is rather demented. Otis hates both his father, mother, and brother Rafael. The two brothers are jealous of each other, while they both hate their father, yet Otis hates his mother Valentina due to Valentina always having sex with men in front of Otis as a child indiscriminately. Also due to the fact Valentina and Monserrati pimped him out to the Walker, Danivers, and Spookcore family since the day he was born. The whole family is actually doing witchcraft on each other, mainly for jealousy and assets. Otis is usually getting the crap end of this family's operations since he does all the dirty work, getting into shootouts, getting into car chases, destroying the businesses of Freemasons and Jews in Spain, chopping up bodies, luring all the children, staging out the rituals, doing set design for their porn tapes, conjuring all the demons for those rituals, using his own body as a portal for his family to communicate with those demons during rituals through his sacral and root energy, which is actually painful to him and usually the one getting shot at. Rafael, however, is a lot more sneaky about his operations and loves the pain inflicted on him when conjuring demons through his pineal gland. Rafael is usually paid more by his family since he has more connections to the Americans. Rafael majored in psychology and law at Yale, just to infiltrate the Skull and Bones secret society, just for the Diaz family to have blackmail on the whole Walker family, and everyone in the Skull and Bones. Due to Rafael's infiltration of the Skull and Bones, his family has been causing problems internationally, only sacrificing their sleeper cell and breeding bastard family members to their ops as scapegoats. After graduating Yale, Rafael got into real estate and started buying and selling property in the south and west coast of the United States, as well as selling a bunch of land his family owned in Jamaica, Mexico, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Argentina, and Colombia. While being a real estate agent, Rafael was involved in doing yellow journalism by running a magazine known as the International Informer, a gossip magazine in which he uses to post blackmail he's gathered to control celebrities and anyone he parties and does business with. His magazine is a protected asset of the Spanish government, the FBI, the OSS, Republican, and Democrat Party due to Rafael's generous donations to those organizations. Eventually, during World War II, Rafael became a media personality and Hollywood mogul due to buying out movie studios using their production lots on property bought out by him. These companies usually fall for it because they are usually contracted by shell companies owned by the Diaz family. Rafael eventually got into the drug business with Barney Walker and washed their drug money in Hollywood film productions. Otis is usually a pusher, transporter, and smuggler of Rafael and Barney's drugs, since Barney weaponized his government clearances to smuggle drugs out of the Golden Triangle. However, this caused a nasty drug war between young Cheng, Barney, and the Diaz family since this was cutting into young Cheng's territory and drug operations, and the two were directly using the Pacific campaign to steal poppy and marijuana out of Asia. Young blamed the whole Diaz and Walker family for it, and struck a deal with the Spook Corps to make life hell for the two bloodlines, by weaponizing Otis against them. The Spook Corps and Young viewed Otis as weak, easy to corrupt against his bloodline since they always underestimated him, and mainly because Otis is the dumbest one out of the Diaz family. Young made a deal with Otis. Otis fucked over his family for more influence and respect over his own bloodline, for unlimited child bussy on Yang's Fufu Island and Fufu Express, and for total ownership of the Underwater Railroad, a underwater child trafficking transportation system in the Caribbean Sea for clandestine child prostitution operations. This meant Otis has full management of all children coming in and out of the United States from the Caribbean, Central and South America. Young decided to use Otis's ties as a Nazi spy for Spain to sabotage Otis's family operations using the Nazis to traffic gold out of Ethiopia. Young got intel from J. Edgar that Hector Kwan was hired directly by Emperor Haile Selassie himself to sabotage all fascists' operations in Ethiopia, and brutalize all traitors to Ethiopia that gave terrain intel and government secrets to the fascists. Young took this as an opportunity to have Otis shine. Young Cheng had already had a strand of Hector's hair from when Hector broken Yang's arm for trying to get a little girl sodomized during the Nanking massacre. The two decided to work Gong Tao, Obeah, and Palo on Hector's anger, causing him to be so angry he was only focused on getting his job done. Otis gave Hector literally all of the plans, militaristic strategies, safe houses, and blueprints the fascists had for Ethiopia, and gave Hector rare strains of weed straight from Jamaica. While brutalizing Nazis, fascist Italians, and traitors of Ethiopia, Otis was Hector's weed plug. Otis is on record for being Hector's quickest weed connection in the world, all due to the fact Otis can fly and swim at subsonic speeds. However, back in Florida, Hector was smoking with Martin and talking about Ethiopia. Martin didn't like the vibe Hector's weed was giving him, since he started getting homosexual thoughts and pain in his anus, which immediately alerted Martin to knowing the weed was hexed. Martin asked Hector where he got his weed from, and found out it's from Otis. Hector then realized he got weird thoughts whenever he smoked it, almost as if he's been telepathically hijacked. While Hector was talking about having weird pain in his heart and anus since Ethiopia, Hector started vomiting while suffering from a heart attack. Martin quickly went for X-ray glasses and realized Hector has a demon known as Leviticus 666 trapped in his throat and wrapped around his heart, parasiting off of his energy. Hector vomited out the Leviticus octopi, stomped it out, rushed into his kitchen to take out a steak knife, cut open his own chest, took a lighter and burned the demon alive. Martin blew up on Hector because he got played by quote-unquote Sephardic psychopaths that like to do social engineering with witchcraft and betrayed their own kind to the Nazis just to have blackmail over the Freemasons. Hector immediately detected Otis was remote viewing him the whole time and was the one telepathically hijacking him and Martin. Martin offered to put a military contract out on Otis, but Hector decided to want to handle it his own way. One Sunday morning in June 1936, Otis was having a sermon on homosexuality and the book of Leviticus. Hector immediately walked into Otis's church and shot Otis in his mouth and face at point-blank range while Otis was on the pulpit reading Leviticus 20-13 to the church. Otis eventually recovered from the shooting due to his Atlantean DNA and began spying on Hector. Monserrati decided to wiretap all of Hector's communications and use the Latino community to do bioterrorism on Hector's food, clothing, shelter and drinks, as fluid binding to control and monitor Hector's every move. Because Hector found out the Diaz's sick the Latino community on him and got him poisoned everywhere he went because of an order done by the Diaz family, Hector decided to hunt down Monserrati and Otis. However, Monserrati and Otis kidnapped Hector while in Madrid. Monserrati and Rafael lock Hector up in their dungeon underneath the catacombs. Hector is locked in golden handcuffs due to Warches believing Lemurians' weakness is gold since Lemurians don't use gold. Montserrat and Otis attempted to intimidate Hector by talking about how they are going to cannibalize and rape his corpse. Hector stared at them without saying a word. Otis demanded a response and stabbed Hector in his belly button with a golden knife. Monserrati then breaks a bottle of tequila across Hector's face and starts to pee on Hector's shoes. Hector chewed on some of the glass stuck in his cheek, spat that glass shard through Monserrati's laughing mouth. When Monserrati was about to die from instant asphyxiation, Hector broke out of his golden shackles and smashed Monserrati's head like a pumpkin by clapping, then stared down the panicking Otis, and beat the ever-loving shit out of him while Otis screamed for his life. Hector brutalized Otis to the point of near decapitation, and every bone was broken in Otis's body, leaving him for dead. Months later, Hector eventually found out from Martin that Otis survived due to his Atlantean DNA, meaning Otis's has rubber-like bone cartilage and can reattach limbs, which is why Martin wanted to put out a military contract. Martin also told Hector that the Diaz family is spying on him and Hector's every move with the use of blackmail compromised Freemason bloodlines from the White Terror. Latino sleeper recruited gangstalkers to harass and poison Hector and Martin, wiretap their phone, burglarized their homes, and had every watch in the world working witchcraft on them besides those under the Walker clan's authority. Martin decided to put military contracts on Otis and his whole family since they are all compromised sleeper cells that forever destroyed the national security of the United States of America to the Nazis, fascists and Marxists, and because they became a non-stop nuisance to Ashkenazi Jews with the use of anti-Freemason anti-Semitic propaganda, and a non-stop pain in the ass to Hector. Martin paid Hector $2 million just for Hector killing Montserrat in an instinctual blind rage, since Montserrat created the White Terror, which fucked up the Loomis family's shell companies in Spain. Hector still wanted direct smoke with Otis because Hector had enough of having his privacy and body invaded by Otis and his disgusting family. Hector swam to the underwater railroad to kill Otis for good. However, Hector was attacked and raped by a giant squid summoned by Otis. After that, Hector was given strict orders to stay away from Otis because he's an OSS and FBI asset by Barney Walker and Jerry Jonas. This was because the Diaz family and Otis himself made a deal with Barney to betray Adolf Hitler in order to keep their jurisdiction and ownership of the underwater railroad after the assassination of young Cheng. Luckily for the Diaz family, they have enough blackmail on the Yankees due to Rafael's infiltration of the Skull and Bones, occupation of the Freemasons due to their seize of their records and archives during the White Terror and family's infiltration of the organization, and the fact that Rafael had Barney under a loyalty spell which clouded Barney's intuition against him with the use of fluid binding from all the gay sex they've had with each other since the 1930s. Otis is said to be one of the main antagonists in gaspunk fiction, Operation Cursebreaker, as Hector and Kaya goes rogue to assassinate Adolf Hitler and all of his Nazi spies involved in Operation Civil Shepherd. Otis Delgado Diaz's natal chart is Sun in Leo, Moon in Aries, and Pisces rising. Otis's main arm is a Obeah. His side arm is anything .45 caliber.
You a man, gangster, you's a buster, customer, sucker, you fake fraudulent motherfucker, you ain't a gangster. I should cut ya, cop back and bust ya, stomp you out, cause I don't, you ain't no gangster. You's a buster, customer, sucker, you fake fraudulent motherfucker, you ain't a gangster. I should cut ya, cop back and bust ya, stomp you out, you don't trust ya. 6SL, glass roof, devil spring, 100 proof, whole whip, bulletproof. You ain't fucking with me, dude. Rich from Felipe, 19.5, a week pay. Cop on the weekend, hard to catch him on a weekday. Niggas act up, slug to the gut, that'll bend him up. Getting fed through his arm in the hospital will slim him up. Get it through your head, 50 cent don't care. I can't squeeze it like the block up, iller than Times Square. Real shit, you spit it cause you seen it. I spit it cause I did it and I mean it. Man, I don't like none of y'all. Fuck around, I'm running y'all. Pop one of y'all. Had the whole hood talking about what I done to y'all.
Judge and jurors, my intentions could have been pure. My case is easy to see.